Guess who's back? Welcome to the hashtag Spyder by the title and thumbnail of this video, and by a very recent community post, you would reasonably believe that this video is specifically made as a response to haters of this channel. However, I would like to tell you that that is incorrect. Well, kinda, but this isn't a rant video of any sort, and this is not a Takara Tomy hate video either. This is just a genuine video where I explain my liking for Hasbro Beyblade products, and why my channel is Hasbro based or Hasbro-exclusive, however you want to say it. I will say this to the haters right now though. I mean, like, y'all can say all you want, but to be honest, I don't care anymore. Like, it's just so tiring to bother with bots. I mean, like, seriously, if y'all are just gonna come onto a Hasbro only channel that just shows how ridiculous y'all are. Like, you do realize that you're making Takara Tomy and their fan base look like absolute jokes, right? Like, the more you expose your numbers, the more my point is proven. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a story to tell. Why am I going out of my way to make this video out of all times? Well, a few days back, just before my break, I recently read some rather polite comments and some rather toxic ones that basically asked me the same thing. Why don't you use Takara Tomy products in your videos? I made a video on this topic before, but I honestly wished it was better, or explain more of why I liked Hasbro more and not why I just didn't buy Takara Tomy. I guess it kind of answered the same question, but in a different way that I kind of didn't actually like in the end, so here I am tackling the subject once more. If you want to see that video, however, the link is in the description. I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to go over my little, I guess why I started my channel and everything, since I did say I would do so in a community post months back. However, before I get into that, I would like to share 3 main reasons why I like Hasbro so much. Alright, let's do this. Surprise, surprise, one reason why I like Hasbro Beyblade products so much is because of how innovative and unique they are. Takara Tomy Beyblades are innovative as well, but if I'm being honest, it's kind of predictable what they're gonna do, because their Beyblades are obviously gonna be based off of the anime 100% every single time. Now, what they're doing is definitely not a bad thing, but I like how Hasbro differentiates itself from Takara Tomy. Like, think about it, they have multiple different main Beyblade systems every layer. They have Slingshot, Hyper Spirit, Speedstorm, Switch Strike, and I guess single and dual layers if you really want to count that. And then the Pro Series. Each system has something very different to them, like a unique twist that not even the illegal counterfeit Beyblades can replicate, which is another huge plus for them. Switch Strike is where the Beys first got layer gimmicks, which is very cool. I guess dual layers and single layers are before that whole layer gimmick thing came to be, and the Beys themselves were all pretty much almost exactly like Takara Tomy, except the locking mechanism was different. They have, you know, Hasbro uses slopes instead of teeth for all systems but the Pro Series. Then you have Slingshot, which is where the Beys still have layer gimmicks for the most part. There's some Beys that had most of their gimmicks, but some of them didn't get them all. This basically, the performance tips were boosted or upgraded, which allowed the Beys to go into this mode called Slingshot mode, and where they can travel to insane speeds to travel up rails and everything, which was pretty cool in theory, but admittedly that system was very flawed. However, the Beys themselves were very fun to use, and a lot of times they were actually pretty good layers for combos, so that was very nice. Hyper Spirit is where the layer gimmicks were almost completely gone, but the performance tips dramatically increased in width and height, so that they can ride on a brink of stadiums. Oh, I guess these Beys were pretty powerful in my opinion. They have really good burst resistance in general, and in general they have pretty good life after death or stamina. And then their attack power can be rather insane if you can get the hits in. So honestly, I was very surprised that people hated them so much, but you know, that's just my opinion. Speedstorm is where most of the Beys retain their driver gimmicks, or gimmicks on the performance tips, but they're taller. Some of them have metal on the drivers and some of them don't. This allows the bays to have a slightly different performance in stadiums with little dips in them, like little vortexes in stadiums. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, some of the layers on the bays still have their anime gimmicks, but some of them don't. So it's kind of like Slingshot, but probably not to a greater, not like bit of an extent, I guess. I don't know. It's too early for me to officially say. But honestly, I don't really care about the layer gimmicks on Speedstorm that much, as long as the bays are really good. There are some times I really want a layer gimmick, but if the bays are just good, I'm okay. And then Pro Series is where the bays are 100% exactly like Takara Tomy. They might have some durability issues here and there, but you know, it's okay. They'll fix it soon. Also, they have teeth, which is nice, I guess. I didn't like it, but okay. It's really nice that the system exists now because, you know, I can finally say what I've been trying to tell people for a long time. Hasbro's traditional systems are not meant to be a replica of Takara Tomy's. Like, I'm very sick and tired of people whining about Speedstorm not being exactly like Takara Tomy. Like, when the Pro Series exists, it's like looking at a softball, placing it next to a baseball, then disregard that the softball is meant to be used for softball, and getting mad at the softball because it's not a baseball. It makes no sense. I kept saying this for like who knows how long, but that's for another video. So yeah, that's one big way how Hasbro differentiates itself from Takara Tomy. They have all these fun systems, they have all these anime accurate stadiums, they have these really cool launchers every now and then. Takara Tomy also has cool launchers though, so congrats. But yeah, I just think that's pretty interesting how Hasbro does that, and they managed to do that and now have anime like accurate bays on the side, so you can't really say they're not trying. I think that's pretty fun, actually. I think that's just a very smart move on them. So it's like they have so much variety, it's really hard to complain. If let's say a Pro Series gets the durability thing right, there's almost absolutely nothing to complain about unless the bay itself is just weak. But yeah, there's really not a lot to complain about when you think about it. In my opinion. Yeah, it's just so cool to see all the variety and stuff with Hasbro, so that's one reason why I like them more. Oh boy, I know what some of you are thinking already.
Oh, Spyder, Hasbro's only cheaper because they use cheap quality plastic. They don't bother using metal or rubber, and they constantly ignore the anime gimmicks.
If you're thinking this way, you'll obviously skip the reason #1 segment, so go watch that. Now anyways, even if all the Hasbro bays cost the same as Takara Tomy's, I still think Hasbro would overall be cheaper in a sense. I know it sounds confusing at first, but let me explain. I don't know about you, but in Canada and the US, buying a Hasbro product is generally cheaper than buying a Takara Tomy product because, you know, overseas shipping costs and whatnot. However, even if we throw that out, I still think Hasbro would be overall cheaper if you're outside of Japan. Even if the bays themselves cost the exact same as Takara Tomy. Now, it sounds pretty freaky, but once again, let me continue explaining. It's all because of Hasbro's marketing strategy, which I really like. And their marketing strategy is not using random boosters. And if you don't know what random boosters are, okay, I did explain what they were in my last video, but you know, I'm going to go ahead and go over them again. Oh my goodness. You see, the biggest thing that a lot of people don't like is that TT, or Takara Tomy, they use this type of loot box or gacha system where basically they have bays, I guess you could say, locked behind these mystery box things. It's so weird. Let me get into it more. They call these mystery box packs random boosters, and basically they typically have 8 different bays in each set of boosters. However, you only get 1 bay out of a package from a set, and the bay you receive is random. It's random choice out of the 8 bays that are listed on the package. Basically, seems pretty simple. What? Roughly you have a 1 out of 8 chance to get each bay, including the main bay, which they call the prize bay. This bay is typically from the Beyblade anime or manga, so they're very popular. However, sometimes TT will intentionally alter the rates to make it even harder to get a certain bay in the set. I believe they did that with the Infinite Achilles random booster, which a lot of people were upset about, and understandably. There was one way to get a guaranteed prize bay or however, but it's so ridiculous. You would have to buy the entire random booster set in order to get it, which usually costs at least $100. Yeah, usually. And I'm not even talking, excluding shipping. It costs, seriously, $100 just to try to get 1 bay, guaranteed. I mean, I know you get the other bays, but what if you don't want them? What if you don't even care for them? What if the other bays are just overall bad? They just come with bad parts, or they're just not viable in any way, or they just look bad. Of course, that's not going to be the case 100% of the time, but I know it happened. It happened several times, so it's it just doesn't make sense. That's why I avoid them. Random boosters in that sense. Of course, Takara Tomy doesn't sell all of their bays in random boosters, but the fact that they sell some of the most hyped ones in random boosters is just kind of weird for me. When you can just go to Hasbro and be like, oh wow, it's just right there. For me, for Hasbro, it's just better for me to just go for Hasbro like that. Now, there's some people who argue that the random boosters allow people to feel a sense of accomplishment when they finally pull out the bay they want. And yeah, I understand that, but I don't think that makes Takara Tomy bays any cheaper overall. I don't see how that works. Moving on. Ah yes, the most controversial part of my entire video. Balanced meta. Yes, in my opinion, the Hasbro meta is more balanced than Takara Tomy's. A lot of their bays, I guess, the old ones can still be used nowadays. I guess you could say the same is for Takara Tomy in some cases, but yeah. But for Hasbro, they don't have the infinite lock thing, and I'm talking about the traditional ones, excluding the Pro Series. There's not really an imbalance between the bay types, like the attack, stamina, and defense, and unbalanced types. There's not really one bay type dominating everything. Even the stamina types, I doubt the stamina types are dominating in the Hasbro meta either, considering that we have some pretty aggressive Hasbro bays recently. And combos, especially with the Hypersphere drivers, so I don't think stamina bays will be dominating anytime soon. And then defense types aren't actually ignored in this meta. Finally, you should know that defense types are my favorite types. And when I realized that, with Hasbro, everything's so much more balanced. Even defense types have a chance to win. I'm nice. This is pretty good. I mean, the defense type doesn't have to be such a jacked up metal bay to actually win. It's just, yeah, it's awesome. I'm sure the Pro Series will introduce stuff like double chassis, gem weights, actual dash drivers, and such, but it's too early to tell. And the Pro Series bays are in a whole different league of their own. This segment was probably the shortest one, but you know what, that's fine. Now I can get into what I really wanted to talk about, however, so get prepared. I saved this segment for last because I really really want to decrease the chances of people just leaving this video early and not listening to the 3 main points why I like Hasbro more, because I mean, I know that some people are just gonna quit right there. I sure hope you didn't skip to this segment though, because the ones before it are full of useful information that'll help you better understand my case in this particular segment. So if you did skip, please go watch the others, but you know what, I can't control you. You see, before I started being a BeyTuber, you know, maybe we should back up even further. When I was first introduced to Beyblade Burst, it was in mid-2018. I believe, oh yeah, my younger sister, huge thanks to her, because she was the one who introduced Beyblade to me. She showed me the anime on Netflix, and I was like, wow, that looks so good, I gotta watch it. So I basically binge watched season 1 rather quickly. I guess I can't say quickly, but like probably in like, how many days did it really take? Probably like 2 to 3 weeks? I don't know. Sometime. I don't think it took more than a month. And then I caught up with Beyblade Burst Evolution right afterwards, which that season's awesome. The first Beyblade set we actually ever got was the Battle Tower set, developed by Hasbro, and the first Bey I personally owned was Blast Genius J3, which was also obviously Hasbro. Since I live in the US of A, Hasbro Beys were commonplace, and they still are commonplace. I basically grew up with Hasbro and I wanted to learn more about them. So I went on YouTube, and guess what? I figured out that, boom, Beyblade was widely popular on YouTube. I went through a bunch of channels and I was like, wow, this is so cool. I didn't know it was so huge. So eventually I started using up a lot of time watching YouTube. So that's pretty fun. Dudes, I watched so many videos. I learned a lot about Hasbro and Takara Tomy Beyblade products. I would soon start to help people across YouTube for some time. You know, before I actually made my channel, I got 60 subscribers just by like answering people's questions. Like, just by doing that. That was pretty cool. I wasn't actually going to start a channel at all until these people had encouraged me to make one. Although at first I was a little skeptical about it, because there's some things I was a little worried about. Like, for one, the community seemed like they greatly favored Takara Tomy because, you know, they were released first and they had, you know, all the anime accuracy and whatnot. When it comes to Beys, I'm not talking about their stadiums, but when it comes to Beys, and a lot of BeyTubers, big and small, went over Takara Tomy generally more. I don't think anyone can argue with me on that at all. I'm not saying that's bad, because it really isn't bad, but it was a little bit insane for me, because as a guy who wanted to start like a Hasbro only thing, it would have been, I don't know, I just didn't know how that would go, basically. I thought it would go pretty bad if I tried, but of course, you never know until you try. Another reason why I was a little worrisome about it is because I couldn't bring myself to really get into Takara Tomy that much, because I generally didn't prefer them. Like, y'all are wondering, like,
oh, Spyder, you didn't buy a Takara Tomy Bey, so how can you assume that you wouldn't have that much fun with it?
Listen, you think I can just watch YouTube? It's not hard for me to do that. I didn't buy a lot of Hasbro Beys until I watched YouTube about them. So I could have bought a Takara Tomy Bey, but I just wasn't interested. It's simple as that. It's so simple. Have you ever watched a commercial about a product and then not buy it?
Nice try.
Yeah, it's something like that. I'm pretty sure that happened to you. So don't be targeting me for that. Gosh. Alright, anyways. Yeah. And then when I eventually, you know, nowadays I bought the Pro Series, it confirmed what I was thinking about years ago, that I wouldn't have had that much fun with the with Takara Tomy Beys compared to Hasbro Beys, like the traditional Hasbro Beys. And I'm gonna say this right now since I have the chance. If you're wondering why I even started buying Pro Series in the first place, it's because they had the Hasbro label. I mean, they're developed by Hasbro, and as a Hasbro BeyTuber, I should review them. So I don't know why people are so confused when I choose Pro Series over Takara Tomy, while I say my channel is Hasbro only, because Pro Series is developed by Hasbro. You know, some things, y'all, it's just confusing. I didn't want to buy a Takara Tomy Bay and open a Takara Tomy Bay on screen, but not show it as much love as a Hasbro Bay. So I was like, you know what? Boom. I'll just not use Takara Tomy Bays in general. Because seriously, I don't like faking my personality on screen. I find that very stupid. I just didn't want to do that at all. And then, final reason why I at first didn't want to start was because, of course, the typical internet bullying. And let me tell you this was years ago, before I started my channel, obviously. It's like, I could say Hasbro's cool and then get destroyed. It was pretty sad. Like, in some places where I comment, even if it's a video about a Hasbro Bay, and like the Hasbro Bay is pretty good, on some channels that I shall not name, because this has nothing to do with the BeyTubers whatsoever, it's just the communities. Yeah, you can get beat up on there. I mean, not physically, but people will just blast you just because you like Hasbro. It's annoying. It's really annoying. Like, there's this one particular Hasbro Bay I will not name that was pretty strong. Like, pretty strong. It was even able to beat a few Takara Tomy Bays. And I'm like, wow, that Bay's pretty cool. And blah, blah. And then I had this one guy who decided to go... He had the audacity to say I was wrong to like Hasbro. And in fact, he even made, I don't know, like a long 3-paragraph comment talking about how Hasbro sucks, how I suck, and how Takara Tomy is the god of bays. I mean, that was no over-exaggeration when I say god of bays, but seriously though, it didn't make any sense. This wasn't the only time that happened to me before I started my channel. And I told my parents about it, and they're just like, well, those people have problems, just ignore them. And I'm like, wait, is that easy? Yeah. See, at that time I didn't think it was that easy, but you know what? It is. I don't know how I didn't think of that before. Just ignore the people. That's why I said at the beginning I was pretty much trying to ignore them. Yeah, so basically what I'm going to tell you right now is that you really should just ignore everyone who just hates you. Like, especially if they have no good reason to hate you. Like, seriously, if those people actually knew who I was, they probably wouldn't hate me at all. But they just looked at one thing. Like, the fact that people actually have the audacity to hate you because you buy a certain brand of toys is... They just don't... They're not worth anything. I'm sorry, but that's basically what it is. Like, they're not worth their time. Like, just ignore them. Like, goodness, why would people hate you over a spinning top brand? Like, it makes no sense. I don't even hate people for buying fakes. I don't like fakes at all, but I'm not gonna destroy your life just because you like fakes. I don't understand. It really is dumb how people do that. But you know, just ignore them, move on. Do all the people, like, you know, I'm not even gonna say that. So basically, after some more encouragement from my mom specifically, I decided to go ahead and run my channel since my mom really encouraged me to get into it, and I guess my fans, should I really call them fans? I mean, I did have a channel, but should they really be classified as fans now? I guess my fans, they told me, you know, just make a channel, so I was like, oh, you know what, fine, I'll go ahead and upload a video. I did upload my first video a few months ago, like 6 or 7 months ago, and I think we all see how that went.